So this is my plan for the 4th of April 2020. This is my personal plan for managing anxiety and worry during self-isolation. I've adapted what I've said in other weeks, and I'll be changing each week different ideas and things. So there's one thing that I can't help you with because I can't help myself with, and that's when you've got a relative that works for the NHS and they're putting themselves at risk every day. I don't know how you cope with that because I can't cope with it. That worry and anxiety will always be there. But regarding other aspects of your daily life, I've put don't panic. It's always better to plan rather than to panic. So plan for everything. Make lists of the things you need, the things you've got, the things you can't get. Check out the food you've got in the cupboard. Make meal plans. And you might find that things are not quite as bad as you thought. Ways of adapting your meals that you make, different ingredients. Also make lists of routines to keep busy. So this is for your mind and your body. So you don't spend the whole day doing one thing. You split it up into like cleaning, phone calls, hobbies, and exercise, and just relaxation if you can. Number 2, limit worry time. Now, if you've ever had any sort of counselling for anxiety, you may have heard of worry time. This is quite useful, but I think it does take a lot of practice to try and do. So for me, keep up to date with the news and everything. Avoid the late night news because that will stop me sleeping. And try not to worry constantly about what is happening in the world today. So use a worry time technique. So worry time means you can set aside a certain time of day when you'll think through all the things that are worrying you. Now, things that you can't change, there's no point in wasting time worrying about them. So put them in a little box and sort of push them away. And then things that you can change, then try and spend a little bit of time thinking, how can I change this? What can I do? And then just when your time is up, say 15 minutes or whatever, 10 minutes of worry time, it's best to have once a day. But if you can't just worry once a day, set aside a couple of times and, where you just think maybe first thing in the morning and then in the evening. But I would never do worry time just before you go to bed. What I would do before I go to bed is make my list for the next day of things I need to do so that I'm not worrying that I will forget to do something important. So number 3, I'm going to move on to prioritise your spending. So another list, essential food and household items. You don't need luxury items now. You're going to have to adapt what you buy anyway because things are in short supply. And essential hobbies, because you do need something to keep your mind busy, but look at the things you really need, not just everything you actually want. You need to be very careful because your money's got to last, and people are finding they've got to spend more than normal. Number 4, don't get into debt. Now this is really difficult for people with not much money because there's no food offers for us, or very limited food offers, and only the expensive items are left. So most people are finding that their food is costing at least half more than it was before, and sometimes double. So just be very careful because if you get into debt, this could cause long-term problems and even more stress and anxiety for you at a later date. If you're struggling with money or to get food, ask for help. There's lots of charities about who can give you free advice. Number 5, keep in regular contact with your family and friends. Daily messages, phone calls and video chat. It's nice. A lot of my elderly relatives, they can't do video chat, but at least I can talk to them on the phone. And if you can video chat, you can actually see people are okay, and that can be really reassuring. Number 6, find time for your hobbies. Don't just let the boring stuff take over. So for me, that is to do some daily drawing. And whatever your hobby is, you need to do something that will just take your mind off of everything else that's happening. Number 7, be flexible. So find substitutes for the things you would normally use but can't get. So we've talked a bit about this in other videos, you can use natural products for cleaning. You can use things like white vinegar and bicarbonate of soda, obviously not for your rats, but just around your house. So you're going to have to be flexible to find different ways of doing things. If you can't get your favourite meals, try just cooking for yourself rather than having sort of pre-packaged meals and things. And not only is it cheaper, but it's better because you're not having all the additives and things. So dig out some cookbooks, look up some recipes online and cook. Baking, actually a lot of people find baking really relaxing. So things that you might just pop out and buy, you can actually make a lot cheaper at home from the ingredients if you can get them. But then there's lots of people with alternative recipes around. I saw things this morning. So I think be flexible. Just try to have some sort of adapted plan for life as it is today. And although this seems like it's going to go on for a really long time, and it probably will, at some stage it will end, and we will have, I can't say we will have a normal life because I don't think things will ever be like they were before. This is changing so many things in so many ways, but we just take one day at a time and we don't worry about how things are going to be in 3 months or 6 months. We just take today. If you can't do today, this is another thing you will have learned if you've done any sort of anxiety counselling or counselling for depression. Split your day up, do 1 hour at a time. Just get through whatever you can, whatever's comfortable, and at some stage things will improve for us. So just carry on as best you can and stay safe and take care of each other.